Back to the Output Real Crimes, where we'll delve into the most chilling true crime stories in South Africa. Today, we unravel the sinister tale of Pamela Ncumisa Selani, a woman whose life spiraled into a series of tragic and brutal events. Pamela was born and raised in Olivenhoutbosch, often called Oliven when we're trying to save words. The township was created in 2000 when Centurion and Tshwane was merged. Oliven is a township that is growing quickly and is surrounded by Centurion and other small communities. Pamela's life seemed normal at first, but she faced many challenges and difficulties behind the scenes before her crimes. Pamela's home life was tough, with a lot of argument and money problems. This made her act out and see the world differently from a young age. Her parents often fought and sometimes neglected her, leaving Pamela feeling unsafe and emotionally troubled. The constant chaos at home made her anxious and very stressed. Pamela's education was very rocky due to her tight budget and chaotic home life. She struggled to keep up with her classmates, missed school often, which led to her poor grades and few chances for growth. Growing up in a violent and crime-ridden community, Pamela was exposed to bad influences early on. This environment made crime and aggression seem normal to her, deeply shaping her outlook on life. Pamela's early years were filled with struggles many in her community faced. Growing up in Oliven, life was very tough. Pamela pushed through, overcoming the obstacle around her. But by 2016, at the age of 47, she had endured many hardships. However, it was her relationship that will take a dark turn, leading to a series of horrific crimes. Pamela was very thrilled when she started a relationship with a guy called Michael Changisa, a charming man from Malawi. Everything seemed perfect until Pamela discovered that Michael had given her HIV. This revelation turned their relationship upside down. A heated argument ensured a sparking chain of terrible events that either of them could have anticipated. While Pamela was sad about this news, she actually turned to a man called Gift Piri, a man she had met at the same neighborhood for assistance since she was furious and felt betrayed. Pamela and Gift had a close enough relationship that she had enough confidence to confide in him about her problems with Michael. They came up with a terrifying scheme to get rid of Michael for good together. One fateful night, with a sense of grim determination, Gift hid in the bathroom of Pamela's home, waiting for Michael to come home until he fell asleep. As Michael lay unsuspecting, Gift emerged and struck him repeatedly with a hammer. The horrifying act unfolded before the eyes of Pamela's two young children. Michael Changisa was killed that day, and he was buried and taken away for life. In an attempt to hide the crime and move on with their lives, Pamela and Gift, they buried Michael's body in their yard, which it was belonging to Pamela at the time. The crime was committed. After that, Gift moved in with Pamela, carrying on their romance despite the sinister secret that lay beneath the surface of their shared home. But the bloodshed did not stop there. Pamela realized that Gift was not a saint either. She realized also that she was in an abusive relationship once more. This time, it was with Gift. A year later, which was in 2017, when Pamela's 17-year-old Aviwe became too sick to take Gift's abuse any longer, they conspired with the mother to kill Gift. Now, Pamela convinced her son to take Gift and held his head underwater till he stopped breathing after poisoning him to guarantee his demise. The remains of Michael were directly atop Gift's body in a shallow grave. What a gloomy scam it is. But Aviwe had his own problems. He was a drug addict. He started extorting his mother, threatening to report her misdeed to the authorities if she didn't pay him, because he wanted more money to pay the drugs and also to get more fix. In 2018, the strain became unbearable as Avila drove Pamela and her youngest son from their house. They then left the house and took sanctuary in the same neighborhood at the home of Pamela's new partner. Pamela seemed to have a standby boyfriend at all times. Pamela was tired to take sanctuary into the neighborhood. She wanted to go back home. Now, Pamela decided to go back home with a determined look on her face. She and her younger son slipped back into the house while Avila was sleeping. In a last desperate move, Pamela killed her own son by grabbing a hammer. Just like the first lover, she turned her yard into a macabre cemetery by burying him on top of the other two victims. How deep had that grave get to be, I wonder? Now perhaps the horrifying secrets would have stayed hidden, but destiny had other plans. 5 years after the horrifying event occurred, in August 2020, Pamela's 14-year-old son became very ill, leading her to consult a traditional healer. While the son was obviously haunted by the death of his mother's first lover who was slain in front of him, the little child confided in the traditional healer about the killings during the appointment. Feeling overwhelmed by the weight of his knowledge, the healer realized the seriousness of the situation. Then he snitched all what the child had told him to the authorities. Well, I guess there's no end confidentiality in the traditional healing appointments. Now, when they got back home, Pamela and her kid were taken into custody. After the traditional healer had alerted the authorities, they had been waiting for them at the house. Now, Pamela and her younger son were arrested. However, the younger son was eventually let go because the charges against him were dropped. He then went to become an important state witness. Notwithstanding the tremendous weight of the evidence, Pamela entered a not guilty plea in court, noting that she was a first-time offender and that she had experienced abuse. She pleaded for leniency. Imagine someone who had killed 3 people. It's a first-time offender. But Pamela's lack of regret and seriousness of her offenses were highlighted by the prosecutor. She was given 3 life sentences for the killings and extra 5 years for undermining the legal system administration of justice after the court granted the sentence. The judge called Pamela an evil woman who had no pity for her victims during his sentencing remarks. He conveyed the hope that the sentencing will deter future crimes and provide the victims, their families, with some measure of closure. Now that's all for today's episode of the Output Real Crimes. Join us next time as we continue to explore the darkest corners of human behavior and the relentless pursuit of justice. Remember, guys, the truth always comes to light. And lastly, everything is allegedly, guys.